Hey guys, how y'all doing? And welcome to Scott the Horsemanship. So every horse has kind of unique characteristics. They've got their personalities, and a lot of those personalities they come from the genetics. But the biggest way they get their makeup is through their life experiences, how they've been handled, how they've been trained, if they've accepted the things that they've been taught, not just from the training standpoint, but from every day just being handled. So Sonny, being an 11-year-old Arabian, he's a little bit jumpy. He can be a little bit nervous. So we don't know how much of that came from his genetics and how much of it came from just his life experience. But we're going to see if we can't help to calm him down, to get him to be less jumpy, without making him freeze up, so that he can more match his owner, so that they can become and have a better riding partnership. Okay, so with him, because he's jumpy, we want to go ahead and see if we can't calm him down. And we're going to do that through some desensitizing. And I'll kind of show you what I do for desensitizing in a way that doesn't get him to freeze up. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with my flag. It's I want to make sure that he's not afraid, that he's so terrified of it. I do not want to flood him. I don't want to just chase him around with this flag until he stops and locks up and freezes up. I want him to understand what to do when he gets to that spot of being nervous. And that is to take a breath and let it out and just relax. That's what I really want his response to be on anything that bothers him. So I don't know. I'm going to go easy and see where it is where he's bothered. So I can put it up here. He just kind of looks at it. Maybe a tiny bit of concern, but he's smelling it and he's looking at it. And then he let go right there. He kind of said, I don't need to look at that anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and stop. I don't need to worry about it. I have to kind of have an idea, a starting point on what is going to cause him to get real worried and then maybe kind of go above his threshold and maybe take off and go into that fight or flight mode. So he handled that really well. Check both sides out. And anytime that they just kind of, even though he's flipping his head, he may have a bug, he may have an itch in there. That's okay because he dropped his head and he's not locking up. I want to be careful not to lock him up and just demand that he stays here and takes this. I want him to kind of know how to do this on his own. I'm looking at all his features. I'm looking at how he's handling it, the way he's holding his mouth, the way he maybe one of the nostrils may come up and rise up a little bit. Is he holding tension or is he letting it go? I'm going to walk off and see if we can get him to just kind of sigh and relax for just a second. He's not super nervous about it, so he's doing really well. But I just want him to see if he can breathe and take a breath out and just kind of let any tension that might be in there and let it go, whether it's a lick and chew or something else. Something just to get rid of that. Show me a sign. So when I first started working with him, he was super nervous about taking the saddle pad, and would be extremely jumpy. So I'm going to use this first and get to where I can rub him all over his body and throw this up all over his body underneath where the cinch would be and on his leg, so that he doesn't, we can kind of get him prepared for that saddle pad and saddle. Again, I'm always looking for signs to let me know, is he breathing or is he locking up? And now I can get a little bit bigger with my flag. because he's telling me he's okay with this right now. He may be look real calm, but we want to make sure that they're not holding it in. They're not holding that stress in. See, he's pretty straight. He hasn't really bent his neck around. He's moving slowly and kind of turning back this way to look, but that tells me that he's a little stiff and he's holding a little tension in his body. He'll make a change here in a minute. He'll either get more worried or he'll kind of let go and let out a sigh or lick and chew or do something, maybe look around. And he's going to release himself from the stiffness that he's holding in his body. There's a change right there. I'm just going to give him a second and see if he can maybe lick and chew, because we're not really getting that out of him. There we go. I don't know if y'all could hear that, but that was a nice sigh. So I'm going to come onto this side now, and his head came up a little bit. He said that, but I'll take that right there. I want to start to do this at a standstill first, and then I'm going to move him. Once I start to move him around, his brain will start kind of getting more reactive, and we'll kind of see how he handles things then. And there's the change we're looking for. If he can turn his head and he can bend his body like that, he's not locked up, he's not frozen. And then we get a lick and chew. Okay, so he's handling this really well. So what I'm going to do now is start to work with his legs. I want to be able to touch him all over and have him realize that this isn't going to hurt him. Feels funny and it may tickle a little bit, but I want the same response out of him. I'd like him to kind of not care about it. He may try to pick his foot up, but I'm not asking him to do anything except just kind of relax and stand there, and I'll take that. And when I see just a little flinch in there, like right there, I just kind of want to work through that. See if I can get that flinch to go away. No, we'll just stop there. He's actually doing really well, and we're just kind of checking him out right now. He got vaccinated a couple of weeks ago, and he had some reaction to the vaccine, so we haven't done much with him since last year. So he's doing really well. He's remembering everything that we had done. So he's really handling everything really well. Head came up, well, he's actually looking at something out there, so that's pretty good. I can take that. I thought maybe he picked his head up because I was touching him, but he was looking at a motorcycle out there, which tells me that this doesn't seem to bother him, so it's perfect. All right.